Hello, dear friends. Here we are. What a joy. 12 days away from the United States Spiritist Symposium in Washington, D.C. Yes, we're on the countdown. Counting down 21 days to this great event. It's not about a show. No, it's not. It's about togetherness. It's about sharing the good news. And these are not fake news. These are good news that have been coming for, I would say, more than 2,000 years. And they are solid. They have transformed lives. People have been feeling superb when they enjoyed the good news. And that's why we're going to be there in the capital of the United States of America. The 12th U.S. Spiritist Symposium is the way to go. Why? Because Spiritists from across the United States come together with their own resources. They pay for their expenses, including the speakers, the volunteers, and the organizations in this country, the Spiritist centers that are affiliated, organizations that are Spiritist organizations, they invest on this togetherness, financially being sponsors, and human resources wise because they bring their volunteers to the plate of this togetherness. It is a joy. And the United States Spiritist Federation has been doing beautiful works coordinating this immense effort. It's very hard, and a person who is very much involved in every detail is Tanya Schwartz. And I know she's humble, modest. She doesn't want to sometimes be seen and be known, but she is doing quite a lot of work on the behind the scenes together with the other members of the board of the United States Spiritist Federation with the local committee. We are also part of the local committee this year, and we rejoice with you. And that's the reason why we're here at 11 p.m. for 21 days until the day of the event. Because besides the incarnate exchange, the therapeutic moment, there is a spiritual outreach. These organizations together, they are offering practically free of charge because $30 is nothing. $10 per child is almost nothing. But the charity is broader. We want to know more about how this concept of charity, love in action, is coming about in this event. And we brought somebody whom you may know because he has been here with us at Kardec Radio before, talking about peacemaking skills. Our dear Haiti Patrick from the North Carolina Spiritist Society. And he's going to tell us more about the center, but mostly about this spiritual outreach that happens in two realms. It's love in action, helping out people, incarnates and discarnates, through the dissemination of this good news. Our dear Patrick is here with us, and let us welcome him. Thank you so much, Patrick, for being with us. How are you?
Hi, Vanessa. Good evening. I'm pretty good and happier than ever to be here again with you. Thank you for the invitation, and good evening to all listeners of Kardec Radio.
Yes, Patrick, it's good to have you here because, Patrick, you can tell more to those who are watching us, like Rafael Medeiros, our dear friend is here, Mara Constantini, Teresa Castro, Narciso Thomas, Flávia Anastácio, many others. I can probably not see everybody here, but friends who are listening to us or watching us around the world. And they want to understand, the behind the scenes of this. When the works of the good materialize on the earth, it is really hard work because our planet is not a piece of cake when it comes to doing the good. You want to tell them a little bit more about the big deal of such works of the good materializing on the earth?
Yes, and it's hard to be doing that, but it's easy to understand. And I guess on the first chapter of the book, Our Daily Bread, from Emmanuel and Chico Xavier, Emmanuel teaches us that Jesus is our guide and master, and who can be the biggest example what we will face doing charity, practicing law, practicing peace. Then there's the example of Jesus Christ. So nowadays we live in a world that is so attached to materialism, to selfishness, to pride, and anyone that is trying to go on the opposite of this flow, so they will face the misunderstanding of the world. So Jesus Christ, he did a lot of, he gave us a lot of examples about how difficult it is to try to do that, but he won. And many others also won. So we have Chico Xavier, Mother Teresa, Gandhi. I love Martin Luther King Jr. So they are people that show that. So the world will ask a price from us, and Jesus Christ, and the good news also will ask a price. So as Paul in the poem Stephen, he said to the soldier, to the guard, and said, "Hey, finish your duty, and you're going to meet your boss. After that, I'm going to meet my boss." So the difficulties and challenges are there are a lot, but it's part of the task of the self-enlightening that Spiritism asks us, right, Vanessa?
Yes, it is. You know, Patrick, when we go to the gospel according to Spiritism and we understand that our planet is in this transition spiritually, materially, and the world is still not vastly conquered by the good. There's still a lot of ignorance, a lot of inexperience, we would say. We call it evil, but for us it's just the absence of the good. So we are like a garden. We are to blossom. We are in springtime in the US. It's the best time to give this analogy to people, knowing that we are not lacking anything. We just need to boost this inner up. And sometimes we need the good gardeners around us. The best gardener is the Christ, for sure. But it's calling us to be proactive in the good. Lately, Patrick, according to many social, political events around the world, we're divided in this world. Like people say, we should be quiet. No, we should speak up. And sometimes we are aggressive. But the optimal way, as the spirits say, is to do the good. Because when we do the good, we speak the good with the intention of doing the good. We take good actions. We will make mistakes. The mistakes come when we are absent from the action of the good. Silence can be beneficial if it's avoiding friction, but it's not beneficial if we're omitting the truth, if we're not positioning ourselves like Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate was trying not to get involved, and that doesn't work. So true charity is to reach out and give of yourself so others can benefit from it. So the concept of charity, how do you think, Patrick? I know this is one of your most preferred topics, charity, outreach. There are so many forms. And for us here, how do you see this event, the symposium, being an opportunity for people to exercise charity in the true sense of the word, and for both realms of life to be benefited in this charitable action?
Yeah. So the first thing is the name, is the title of the event, right? It is Enlightened Answers. So the first step to us is to enlighten ourselves. So, and we are congregate in an event like the 12 Spirit Symposium. So we can listen this good news, understand all the blessings that Spiritism has to bring to us, and there we start sharing. All of us, we have something to share: our experiences, our learnings, even our mistakes. We can share that and learn a lot to ourselves, but also let other people learn. And there, we are very sure that the highlighted spirits will be there inspiring us and bringing us understanding and that environment of peace, of life, of light as well, so that help us to start shining light in our hearts. But I don't know how surprising that will be for maybe for beginners in spiritism, but not only the highlighted spirits will be there, also the low evolved ones, and they are allowed to be there also to feel, to listen, to learn from these teachings. So, but especially to see what we were doing there, the deep understanding of Jesus Christ, not that dogmatic one that separated people. And as Chico Xavier said, that he said that he was glad that the main theme of Spiritism is without charity there is no salvation, because if it was without Spiritism there is no salvation, or without church, so it only divides people. And without charity, the true charity, that is, yeah, there is no salvation. And charity, all of us, we can practice. It doesn't matter if you are rich or poor, if we are happy or even a very sad people, someone in depression, someone in a culture, on a dictature, or communism or capitalism, or if you're sick or healthy. So you can give a word. You can be patient and all of that. If you allow me, you talk about Flavia, right? Flavia Anastasio from Apex. So I don't know if you know that. Flavia, I'm sorry, I'm going to tell your example. But she had a cancer 2 years ago, a very aggressive one. And when the doctor told her, hey, they called a nurse and a doctor to explain her. So he said, hey, you have cancer. And Flavia said, okay. So what? And the doctor said, oops. So she's Brazilian. Maybe her English is not that good. So she said, hey, I'm telling you, you have a cancer. I said, oh, okay, so what is the next step? And they call him translator. So I explained to her, she has a cancer. She said, no, I understood that. So what is the next step? And her faith at that moment, okay, the cancer is on the body. So I don't turn to the spirit. And that helped her. And that example of faith helped others to ask about from where this comes from. It's like Stephen and Paul in the book Paul and Stephen. So Stephen, so being so peaceful, so strong with the faith and forgiving Paul. So the charity of forgiving make the heart of Saul at that moment think, wow, what is this? Jesus, from where did this come from? What is the source of this power to this person? This is the peace that I'm looking for. And the U.S. Spiritist Symposium will be the greatest opportunity for us to enlighten ourselves. So the enlightened answers that Spiritism can bring to us, it's what makes us move and act. So this is also one of the basics in the Spiritism, that is the process of self-enlightenment.
You're right. And I can't help it, but Teresa Castro is asking us, What does it say on your shirt? It says life is.
Oh,
What
let
is
me
it?
let me finish it.
We need to
Life
worth
is worth
living.
living. Stop suicide.
Oh.
Yeah. This is a charitable campaign that we do every September. This is also the reason that the shirt is yellow. So on September we do the yellow campaign with the Spiritist centers and other friendly Spiritist centers, when we not only dress the shirt, but we celebrate gratitude. So we go to a park, we do a picnic, and we do some talkings there about gratitude. We have balloons, we have cake, we have dogs, cats. We
And
celebrate
music.
music, yeah, music, and also we bring some spiritist messages that talks about, especially from Joana de Angelis, that talks a lot about being
Prevention of suicide.
yes, and we give that to people that are around. This last year, we invited the people in the park to join us, and some join us, especially the kids and the youth, and we play with them. So, I guess the best way to fight suicide is to show that life is worth living. So people can make friends, we can smile, we can hug, we can sing, we can play.
You know, today when I was preparing for our conversation on the countdown, there is a song that we sing to kids at the baby and toddler program. And I said, you know, that's pretty much the feeling, because it can really bring joy and the togetherness to people that can save lives. And the song is pretty much like this. The more we get together, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. 'Cause my friend is your friend and your friend is my friend. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. And the children love it. And we do too. Right, Patrick?
I love that too. You have sent that to me last time. I mean, yeah, I
Bring the
love it.
guitar. I thought about you. I said I have to tell Patrick to bring the guitar so we can play. Oh,
Yeah.
Mamma Mia, right?
I can play, but I'm very sure people don't want to listen to me singing. Vanessa. No. It's too late. It's dangerous for good dreams.
You know, but
So,
that's
but this
good
song
news.
made me remember something, one quote from Bezerra de Menezes, that together we'll be ever. It says that apart we are just points of view, and together we are power, we are strong, we are that together we will always be happier and stronger. And I guess we talked that about last time. And the biggest example is always Jesus Christ. This is a personal quote. I don't know it. I have never read that in Spiritism. But on my personal understanding, I believe that Jesus could do all the work by himself.
Yeah.
But he chose to choose 12 people, to go reach out people, to invite more people to work together, to build that together. And this is a lesson to us. So let's work together. It's harder as well. But this is also charity. And because we are taught to people as well. We always think that people are being taught to us, are asking patience from us. But we also make mistakes, and people forgives us. But especially from all, God has been so patient with us for millions of years, and no eagerness. So let's be eager with people as well.
And look who's here. Steve Dean is here. Steve, I haven't forgotten about you. I tell you that. Just motherhood, and I promise, Mamma Mia, I need to bring Steve to Cardiac Radio. He has so much to share with us, right, Patrick?
Yeah. Oh, I have been with them yesterday and Saturday.
Oh, Anna from Alabama told me, she sent me a message, and here he is saying, Patrick, you sing fine with love and enthusiasm. Okay, so be it.
Don't believe in friends, Vanessa.
I've seen you, and I agree. I agree. But Patrick, this is the feeling of the togetherness of the symposium. Tonight, when we were at the Spirit Society of Virginia, we had our meeting, the study and the mediumistic practice. One beautiful message came about in the preparation for the symposium was about simplicity. And then a spirit mentor named Christina, she came and said, amongst other things, that simplicity is the key to everything. And when I talk to you, and when we are talking about this movement of loving action, it's not fancy because it needs to be real and it's simple, like in nature. Everything mesmerizing, but as simple as it gets. And when people think about putting together this event, the key word is maintaining simplicity, which is this the reality of who we are. That this is who we are, we're together, and that's all that matters, that we are here and we're being. We're not chasing the next moment. We're being mindful. Right, Patrick?
Yes, yes. So simplicity is a key word or something to keep in mind, especially because the great spirits that we haven't seen on earth have been humble, use wisdom, but especially being very simple in acts or God's child, as you say. So Mother Teresa, Chico Xavier, and among many others. So as simple we keep it, easier to us. So also prevent us from to lose the point of what Spiritism is calling us, the invitation that Spiritism is always making, it's making to us. So, and I want just to add something, Vanessa. So,
Sure, go
and
ahead.
also, in 12 weeks. And so it's 12 weeks for the 12th US Spiritism Symposium. So yeah. So in 12 weeks, so this will be the greatest opportunity to us also to practice the simplicity, to also live a little bit when we leave our home, some families. I don't need this money from a Saturday for a Sunday to travel. So this is also leave us a little bit the road behind. Living this is also part of charity for someone really special and for someone that really needs charity as well. It is ourselves. So we can do charity to ourselves as well. So it's a national event, and all of us have the look to be the neighbor of Virginia and DC. So we are in North Carolina, but we can tell if we're living in California, in Maine, in Washington DC, Texas. So it's worth it. So this is the charity to yourself. So to join, to share a little bit, and also to be able to receive.
And bring your children and youth, because there is a program that is being put together. And without the new generation experiencing it, I would never leave Virginia behind to go to such an event. I know it's more work, but that's their moment also to practice and also to receive that nourishment as well. So it's an opportunity for everyone who is working on the behind the scenes or who is coming to attend to consider bringing their children, of course, if that's a possible thing. But if everything is going right. So right now, Patrick, as we're marching to the closure of this conversation, when we're encouraging everyone to join us in this national moment of prayer for the world, prayer for the United States, prayer for each one of us, and in this togetherness, sharing this beauty of being together, growing together before God. we selected a message from the book Living Spring by Emmanuel, chapter 33. I'm not going to read everything, just a few excerpts before I ask you to do the final prayer. And Patrick, you can sing, play, dance in the final prayer. Okay, but I'm going to read a little bit. It's beautiful. It says, raising and helping. Emmanuel quotes from Acts 9:41. And taking her by the hand, he helped her up. This lesson from Acts, in which Peter brings Dorcas back to life, is very significant. The apostle is not content with saying beautiful things in her ears so as to restore her general energies. No, he takes her by the hand and helps her up. The teaching is highly symbolic. We often see people helped up in knowledge, joy, and virtue, bathed in the divine light of the Master, and who are then able to help thousands of people up to the higher realms. However, preaching alone is not enough to do so. He goes on, and he says to us, we have to use our hands in working for the good. And using our hands means getting involved personally. Unless we use our energies to help Christ build the spiritual kingdom on earth, it will do no good for us to proclaim excellent words about the treasures of the good news or about the need for human redemption if we find brothers and sisters falling down on the way. Let us do all we can to awaken them with the resources of transforming word, but let us also remember that in order to bring them back to a constructive life, according to Peter's unforgettable lesson, we will have to reach out fraternally to them. Isn't that moving?
Yeah.
Right, Patrick?
Yes. Yes. It's speechless. Yeah. So we need to incarnate the good in the world, as I said at the beginning, to materialize that.
Materialize it.
And the gospel invites us.
Engaged, right? As you said, bring yourself to this national coalition of the good. We need more than ever, Patrick. The spirits have been saying, the Christ have been inviting us, but there is an expiration date. Because, on earth, it's coming about, and the expiration is inside of us. This reincarnation is the one. So if we're being called, if we're listening to the message, this message is not for those who are not receiving this message. This message is for us, for all of us. Right, Adilson? He's saying Patrick brings Jesus to us through his mind. I agree. This is just friendly exchange, okay? Don't be shy, Patrick, okay? But now let us give one step ahead, since we're just less than 2 weeks away from this event, from this therapeutic moment in two realms. Let us together unite our minds and hearts with you, Patrick. May you lead us into a prayer, please.
Yes, sure. So you said that I could choose a way for the prayer.
Yes.
If you allow me, or what you read a poem in English from Alta de Souza.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Psicography from Chico Xavier. And I don't know if I have permission. I want to read one in English and to say one in Portuguese, if is that okay.
That's okay.
Can I do in both languages? I don't know Esperanto yet. I would love to say in
No, don't.
Esperanto.
No,
It's
too
not,
complicated.
but,
If you want to say it in English,
yeah,
it's wonderful because then everybody can understand.
I understand, right? So,
Yes.
uh, the name of the poem, it's an intimate letter, and it says, "Listen, my brother, along the way of terrestrial misery, there is a lot of pain, very gall, plenty of shade, much torn among false tempting pleasures. There are wants that bleed, there are fears, orphans, homeless, without bread or affection. Comfort those suffering poor, nostalgic souls of the celeste nest. Jesus will smile with your smile when you do in the world the necessary good for those who suffer in desperation. All the good that you plant on this life, they were waiting for your soul redeemed in the paths of light and redemption." Alta de Souza. So I would ask our dear God, our Master Jesus, all the good spirits, all the blessings to all of us in the planet where we are living, in our towns, but especially, dear Lord, for this event that will happen in just 12 days. May shine light in this country, in our capital, in all people that are responsible for our lives, for the laws, but also the very important tasks in their families, in their workplaces. Stay with us, dear God. So be it.
Thank you so much, Patrick. We're more encouraged today and we're just 12 days away. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank
Thank
you
you.
also. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you. Well, Vanessa, do you care if I ask you, are there people from other countries that not the USA watching us today?
Oh,
I know
yes.
this is
Yes.
everywhere.
I
Yeah.
cannot see it here now. I have to go to but I can send you a message later to let you
Oh,
know. And it's good that you
yes.
asked because many people are seeing this and that's an opportunity for them. We would encourage them to also create this format that is unique in the Spiritist movement. The United States Spiritist Symposium has a unique format that is very dynamic and allows room for a lot of participation throughout one nation, one Spiritist nation. So thank you, Patrick. And we also thank everyone who is here with us, thanking each and every person who has been partaking. We encourage you, go to spiritistsymposium.org. It's in Washington, D.C., a beautiful city that needs us now. And we need that city too. So join us, bring your children, your youth, and come together. There are beautiful things awaiting you. And hopefully tomorrow we'll be back for another day in our countdown for the 12th U.S. Spiritist Symposium. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, friends. And until tomorrow. Bye-bye.